Three children walked to the beach on a summer morning, and then they were gone. No trace, no witnesses, no answers. Nearly 60 years later, we still don't know what happened to them. Welcome to Drawn to Crime, where real mysteries unfold through animation. In this episode, we dive into the disappearance of the Beaumont children, the case that changed Australia forever, and the one that broke a family that never stopped looking. I want you to think about what Australia Day felt like in 1966. Hot, busy, families everywhere. The kind of day where nothing bad could possibly happen. Glenelg Beach, just outside Adelaide, was absolutely packed. Hundreds of people, sunbathers, swimmers, children running in and out of the water, parents dozing under umbrellas. It was the most public place you could imagine. And somewhere in that crowd, 3 children disappeared. Not in the dark, not down some quiet back street, not somewhere isolated. In broad daylight, surrounded by hundreds of people. And not one of them saw what happened. Jane Beaumont was 9 years old. She was the eldest, responsible, mature for her age, the kind of child parents trust instinctively. Her mother trusted her to look after her younger siblings. Arnna was 7, quiet, close to her sister. Grant was 4, the youngest, still small enough that he couldn't have navigated the journey home alone. On the morning of the 26th of January, 1966, their mother Nancy put them on a 5-minute bus ride to Glenelg Beach. It was something they'd done before, in the school holidays, a perfectly normal summer morning. She gave them money for the bus fare. She told them to be home for lunch. They kissed her goodbye and walked down the street. That was the last time she ever saw them. At first, Nancy wasn't worried. Children lose track of time on summer days, especially at the beach. She waited through lunch, then the afternoon, watched the clock, told herself they'd be home any minute. But the sun started dropping, and her children weren't home. When police began investigating, witnesses came forward, multiple of them, independently, and what they described was deeply unsettling. The children had been seen at the beach with a tall, blond man, estimated to be in his mid-30s, athletic build, tanned, unremarkable looking. They were seen playing with him in the water, laughing, relaxed, comfortable, like they knew him. Then Jane was seen alone at a local shop, the Wenzel's Milk Bar, buying pasties and pies. 4 of them, enough for 3 children and 1 adult. The shopkeeper remembered her clearly. She was polite, confident, not rushed or upset in any way. And she paid with money her parents hadn't given her. Someone had given Jane Beaumont money, a 9-year-old girl, and she had used it to buy food for the man she was with, without hesitation, without fear. Whatever connection existed between those children and that man, it wasn't new. After the milk bar, the children were seen once more, back near the beach oval, still with the same man, still relaxed, still seemingly fine. And then, nothing. No more sightings, no more witnesses. The bus they were supposed to take home left the stop without them. They never boarded it. Nancy Beaumont stood at her front door that evening, watching an empty street. Her children never came around the corner. Grant was 4 years old. He had never made that bus journey home alone. He wouldn't have known which stop to get off at, which street to turn down. Which means wherever he went that afternoon, someone took him there. And Jane, 9 years old, careful, trusted, went with him willingly. That single fact is what makes this case so haunting. These weren't frightened children being dragged somewhere against their will. They went quietly, happily. Which means whoever took them was very, very good at gaining trust. The investigation that followed was one of the largest Australia had ever seen. Over 300 police involved, more than 100,000 people interviewed, Tips flooded in from across the country for months, and yet nothing led anywhere. A police artist worked with witnesses to create a sketch of the blonde man. It was published in every newspaper, shown on every news bulletin. Thousands of people recognized the description. No one could name him. Investigators spoke to every registered sex offender in South Australia. They combed through records, cross-referenced sightings, followed every credible lead. Nothing. One significant lead came in 2013, when a man named Hayden Phipps came forward, claiming his now-deceased father had confessed to the murders. Police took it seriously. They investigated thoroughly, forensically, for months. No evidence was found to support it. Over the following decades, 2 separate properties were excavated based on tip-offs, one as recently as 2018, with investigators genuinely believing the children's remains might finally be found. Both sites came up empty. Jim Beaumont, the children's father, spent the rest of his life waiting for an answer. He passed away in 2021 at the age of 96. He never got one. Nancy, their mother, is believed to still be alive. She is over 100 years old. She has been waiting for nearly 60 years. The most widely held theory centers on the blonde man, an unknown predator who somehow gained the children's trust so completely that a responsible 9-year-old willingly bought him food and walked with him for hours without concern. Some investigators believe he already knew the family, or presented himself as a friend of their parents. It would explain why Jane showed no fear, no hesitation. Others believe he was simply extraordinarily skilled at what he did. The most prominent named suspect in recent decades was Derek Percy, a convicted child killer who was active in Victoria during the same period, and who investigators believed may have traveled to South Australia. Percy denied any involvement until his death in 2013. His personal diaries, which police examined, have never been fully released to the public. What they contain, no one outside the investigation knows. And then there's the possibility that stays with you the longest. That the blonde man was never on any police list, never connected to any other crime. That he took 3 children on a summer afternoon and then simply continued living a normal life. A neighbor, a coworker, someone's husband, someone's father. Someone who got away with it completely. Glenelg Beach still exists. On hot summer days, families still spread their towels on that same sand. Children still run in and out of that same water. But South Australia has never quite let go of what happened there. The Beaumont children didn't just become a cold case. They became a turning point. Before them, Australian children rode buses alone and spent all day at the beach without anyone thinking twice about it. After them, that world was gone. Parents held on tighter, watched closer. A kind of innocence that existed in this country in the summer of 1966 was never quite recovered. Jane was 9, Arnna was 7, Grant was 4. And somewhere out there, the truth about what happened to them on that beach still exists. In someone's memory, in someone's silence. So I want to know what you think. Do you believe the blonde man was someone the children already knew? Or a stranger skilled enough to earn a 9-year-old's trust in minutes? Drop your theory in the comments. I read every single one. And if this one stayed with you tonight, you need to see the case of a family murdered on an isolated German farm, where the killer didn't flee the scene. They stayed, for days, living among the bodies. And we still don't know who it was. That story is right here. Go watch it next.